Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world. This is the world away, and today I'm going to be doing stages 45 to 50 of the Fanhome release of Build Darth Vader. So we are still missing pack 8. I'm guessing a lot of people are in the same boat as me, which means we haven't got the fingers on the left hand, but I believe we are going to be doing the right arm today, and that it does include the hand with fingers. So we haven't actually seen what the fingers look like. They're in these magazines here, but if you do want to get this for yourself, I have put a link in the video description. You've also got the QR code on the screen, which not only details where you can get this from, but all of my builds on the channel, including things like my Amazon store, my social media links, and my World Away merchandise. You will notice, actually, talking about merchandise today, I got one of the free gifts that come with it, which is a t-shirt, Darth Vader t-shirt. Fits very snug, but looking forward to this. So without further ado, let's get cracking. So, stage 45, here is the magazine, looking like this, and today we're going to be doing parts of the left arm, as you can see here. Putting all of these parts together. This looks like a ball joint here, so it's looking just like that. So everything, as you can see in the stage 45 bag, is wrapped individually, so it's just going to take some time just to get all of this open. And I just want to bring over the arm to show you exactly what we have been working on here. Looking like that. What I do need is this joint that we were working on last time. And all I'm going to be doing is putting this section here just into position on here, matching up the holes, and I'm holding that in with 4 of the J screws. And once again, you are going into metal on this, so once I line them up, I'll get all of these in just with a little bit of oil just to help me out. Now obviously when it comes to joints of these models, I've done enough of them now to know this, you do really want to make sure they're as tight as you can get them, because when the full arm is on here, it is going to add some leverage to it, which means if you haven't got these tight, it's just going to be very loose arm. But there you go, that's in place. All I'm going to do then is piece the 2 halves of this together. So it's just a case of lining them up and putting them into place, just like this. Oh, one more to clip in. There we go. That looks good. This is where I've got a K screw, very long screw this one, and that's going to go right the way down the center hole there. Now I've just taken this center part out on mine, and basically we're supposed to be putting this K screw down this position here, and I'm looking at how this actually goes in. We do have a nut on this side that this is supposed to engage, but look, this K screw, it's the nut's way too big for it. That can't be right. Let me see what other screws I've got. Why is it Mia's always has these unique problems? Look, I mean, if I was to just put this the wrong way round, it doesn't bite that on there. I don't think I've got a bolt that can actually hold this. Now I know this isn't my problem, I'm gonna just put these back in. Is it just me, or has everyone had that problem? I'm wondering if there was a problem with the nut, but I don't have a spare nut either. But that isn't going to go in there at all. So I can still put this together, but what I think I'm going to do is I'm actually going to glue these parts here together. I can put a screw in here which is going to hold everything in, but I'm kind of left with no choice. So let me do that now. I'm hoping we won't have to go back into here again. Now, this is all part of the under skeleton, if you like, so you're not actually going to see any of this, but I will just put some glue along the sides there and get this together. Okay, that's perfect. And then I've got a type F screw here, which is just going to put the base in. That one's going in perfect. And that will hold all of that together. Excellent. That's very strange. Very strange. Okay, we're going to be making another sort of like a bush, which is going to provide friction to this when we turn. And that's just a case of putting this on here and then wrapping this all the way around like this. There you go. That fit perfectly. And then the last thing to do is we're going to be making a collar by putting this section over here. I just need to make sure that that's on the right way, because it's going to be limited to how we can turn this, as you can see. And I want to put its partner just on top there. That's looking good. Now, I don't know which way round this catch has got to go. By the look of it, they've got this bit here on this side, so I'm doing okay where I've got it there. That's perfect. I'm holding this together once again with these F screws. So one in here. We'll make this tight in a minute. And then just two on the other side here. Perfect. So with that in place, nice and tight, that is all there is to do in that stage. Very disappointed with this bit. I don't understand. I think there has to be something wrong with my nut in there. That's not going to go anywhere though, so I'm pretty happy with that. Have you noticed nothing goes smooth for me at all? Okay, here is the next magazine. Stage 46, some large plates here that we're going to be putting in. We're going to be putting this onto the arm and attaching this like that. Once again, all in packages, so I just need to get all of this open. So first thing I want to do is take this ball joint that I've got here, and I'm going to want to place these two parts together like this, which is going to secure this top of the shoulder into place here. Then I'm going to be taking the arm. That's going to go in this way, just onto the two posts here. Now, we're not actually attaching anything. What we are going to do, the instructions telling us to do it a silly way round, putting it together, then putting all the screws in. I'm not doing that. I'm going to put this in where it goes and then put some screws in here now to hold this in. And these are just those F screws. So one this side. Perfect. Put the arm in and do the same thing. Why wouldn't they have us do it this way? I don't understand. So there you go. Those pieces are in tight. Then I'm going to be putting this piece just on top, matching everything up, making sure it's clipped together. Excellent. And then once again, F screws on this side to tighten this up. Now just remember, at the moment, poor old Darth hasn't got any fingers. So that is how the arm is looking at the moment. I put a little bend in it. And I'm just going to be putting this elbow joint just on the end here. This is pretty uniform. It doesn't really matter, I don't think, which way round it goes. But there we go. That's into place like that. And there we go. That is all there is to do in that stage. Okay, I think things are going to get a bit fiddly now. Stage 47. Here's the instructions. And as you can see, we're going to be doing the right hand now. So we are creating the fingers. This is something we never had an opportunity to do last time because we're still waiting for pack 8. But that's going to look like that. And it looks like each finger is in its own bag. I'm hoping that's what's going on here. Let's open one up first and see what happens. We do have these bushes in a bag here. Going to need them. First thing I want to do is I want to take this bush and slide this as a sheath just over the top of that section there. Then I'm going to be taking this section and I'm pushing this over the top as well. So I think I'm making the thumb. I could be wrong. This way round. Then I'm going to be putting the top on. This is what the top looks like. And that's going to go in just like that. Holding that in with a little screw. This is a type T screw. They're the only ones I believe that come in this stage. Obviously we're not really going to see these fingers because they're going to be under a glove. But I've created that. And I'm going to be doing the same pretty much with all the other ones here. So I've got this one here now. Again, I'm going to put a sheath over the back one. These are a little bit of a pain to get on, but they will go on like that. I'm putting that through the bottom of this one. Again, making sure that that goes into position nice and flush. Excellent. Put the top of the finger on here. And then two of these screws to hold that into place. And now with that in, that's going to provide good articulation, as you can see, for that finger. Okay, so now we know how to make that, we're going to do another one. So, just like last time, take a sheath, put it over this section, perfect. Then I'm going to be putting this on top, and I'm going to be closing that off by putting the other end on. That looks just like that, and holding that in with one of these screws. Once again, take this section, put a sheath on the end, make sure this goes through this way round, so it comes out the other side. Then I've got the top here to put on, and holding that in with one of these T-screws. Oops, that's good. And then finally, one more sheath here, over the top, through the bottom like this, put the top on, and hold it together with this T-screw. As a matter of fact, we need 2 T-screws. So obviously this is a longer finger. I don't know what fingers we're actually making here. Very clever way to do the fingers though, because as you can see, they articulate well and they do hold themselves. They're not floppy. I like that. Okay, that is the end of that stage. So I'm guessing it's going to be more of the same with stage 48. More fingers to do, exactly the same way. So I think what I'm going to do is just whiz through these now, as you can see here, and we'll get all of those done. Actually, we're doing 2 more by the look of it. So here we go again. Sheath just on here. Anywhere basically you see a spindle, we're going to be putting a sheath on. I have kept the fingers in the bag separate though, so I know which finger I'm working on. So these are slightly different sizes, just so you know. So if this one doesn't fit, put the smaller one on. Get its partner in there. Working my way down. And just put the tip on. Once again, 2 screws at the end here. And there we go. There's another finger done. Perfect. Do the last one. If you're having trouble getting these sheaths on, easiest way to do is just put it on one side and then roll your hand around like this, and it just fits over perfectly. I was struggling when I first started this, but as you can see, it got a lot easier. So I'm just going to finish this last finger off doing exactly the same way. And there you go, there's another 2 fingers done there. So then in stage 49, I've got one more finger to make, which is just on its own there, looking like that. So we've seen how to do this now. You don't need to see me doing this again. So I'll come back when this is completed. So last screw's just going in here on the tip. And there we go. So we've done all the fingers now, looking like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's the end of that stage. So let's move on to the last stage. And here is the magazine, stage 50. At least when we have to go back and do that pack 8, I know what I'm doing now. So I'll be able to whiz through that. We've got the palm of the hand that we're going to do here. So attaching the fingers to that, so we do have a finished hand. Once again, a lot of packaging in here, so it's going to just take some time to get everything open here. So the first thing I want is the 2 slotted bigger finger here, which is actually the thumb, and I'm going to be putting that into place in here, holding it in with one of these F screws. Perfect. We have a thumb. Now all the other fingers that we've made here, I'm going to need to put some little bushes on each side. It is clever because it's these bushes which are providing the friction so your fingers don't flop all over the place, and it's probably best to actually put one on each side on each finger, that way you know you've done them. So I work my way through these. I've then got the bracket here to put on. Now this one takes larger bushes at the end, which I've got in here. Exactly the same way, one on this side and one on the other side. Just put that into place into the hole at the bottom here, ensuring that goes in all the way. When you're actually putting the fingers in here, 3 of them have got the screws in this side. One of them's got the screws in the other side. That's actually the index finger. So that's how you'll know which position to put these in. So I'm just going to get these in. Just like that. That looks good. Okay, and then I'm going to be closing this up by putting this on top here. And you want to wiggle this into place. So get the bottom and wiggle it like that. That will help that go down. Just do the same with the fingers here. Just go like that, and then that will help you close that off. And then I'm using these F screws here to screw this together. Last screw just going in here. And there you go. And with that in place, that is the hand done. That looks pretty cool. And as I said, all these fingers here, I've got the bolts the same way. The index finger, keep calling them bolts, screws the other way. And here's your thumb here. But it all articulates. Looks really good, actually. But that's all there is to do in that stage. That and this is all there is to do in that pack. So there you go. It wasn't really hard, but was quite fiddly. But now I know how to do the fingers. I'm not going to have a problem with that when I come to do the rest of the right arm, which is what I'm guessing we're going to be doing. Now, once we've got the inner frame done, I'm guessing the magic's going to be coming in all the materials that we're going to be putting over it. Remember, this is one of the first models we've had, which we're actually using real fabric materials, which is quite cool, but looking good. Once again, if you do want to get this for yourself, I have put a link in the video description. You've also got that QR code on the screen, but I really hope you like that video. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed already, please remember to subscribe. Other than that, take care.